making up a song about Coraline. She's a peach, she's a doll, she's a pal of mine. She's as cute as a button in the eyes of everyone who ever laid their eyes on Coraline.
What was that?
That was the song.
What? What?
God damn it. Okay. That's our intro. That's my intro. That was my idea for an intro.
Damn it. Hey guys, and welcome to Movie Mumbles, where the mumbles have movies and the movies have mumbles.
I don't I just hate that slogan so much. It just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Hey, I'm with my boy Roy. Say hi, Roy.
Hi. Okay.
Yes! I'm gonna do it every single episode. I'll get it in somehow. Okay, so, do you wanna...
Yeah, okay, so...
actually start it off?
So today we're talking about Coraline, obviously, from the song. That's a catchy song, okay? That was done by They Might Be Giants.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, you don't know shit about them, but, like,
No, I don't. I recognize the song, though.
Yeah, of course, because you watched the movie.
Before the movie.
Pretty much, we're doing the theme of animation, and we've been kind of exploring a bit of the different fields. We started off with a CGI Disney film, then Warner Brothers traditionally animated film, and now we're doing a Laika-produced stop-motion film from well-known stop-motion director Henry Sellick, who's done a bunch of well-known stop-motion films, including Nightmare Before Christmas. I keep saying Elm Street.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Nightmare on Elm Street as an animation. I think that would generally be 10 times better. Anyway, that's beside the point.
Yeah, but yeah, he's done a bunch of those films, and I think he started I'm not sure about that, but he is like one of the big directors of
he was the first director that got into Laika, and I think he put a lot of money into it. I think
also Coraline is like the first Laika film. I think that was like the start.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna be starting our timers pretty soon, and then we'll start the actual discussion. Okay, ready?
Yeah, just a heads up, there will be spoilers ahead.
Yep. If you haven't seen the movie, you should. But if you don't care, then we're not restricting ourselves on spoilers. Okay. So let's begin our timer and go. So, as you can tell from the song in the beginning, this film is about Coraline. Basically, she's a girl who recently is moved away. She's kind of has this, a strange relation with her parents because of, of course, moving away, and her parents don't give her enough attention. And also this house that she's living in is also very weird and full of weird people. One day, she finds this door that leads her to another world where pretty much everything is much more awesomer, and she gets everything she wants, but there's a twist to it. And that's pretty much the gist of the entire story. But first of all, of course, animation theme. I'll just quickly talk about the animation. It's really good. The stop motion in this is very impressive. I don't know why, but stop motion it was physical. There's a physical presence to it, and in general, it's just the animation for this film. It's very vibrant, but there's also a creepy atmosphere to it. A lot of creative designs in the characters and the backgrounds, and a lot of great visuals.
Yeah, it definitely follows on from the weird kind of vibes that you've got from Henry Selick's other films, like James and the Giant Peach and The Nightmare Before Christmas. Those are those big two films. So it's that was the thing that I liked the most, was the fact that it was weird and kind of funky, but like you said, the animation is beautiful. It really is. I love stop motion, and when it's done properly, the best thing about stop motion when it is done properly is that you don't notice that it is actually stop motion. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. It kind of flows, and it helps tell the story, and you can do so much with the clay and the models that it just kind of expands what you perceive.
I kind of want to talk a bit more about the plot in the film, more specifically the way it's constructed, because I think it's an interesting kind of, I wouldn't say Alice in Wonderland, but a similar type of fairy tale kind of setting. This was originally based on a book that was written by Neil Gaiman. I'm not too familiar with his work, but I know he's a very acclaimed fantasy writer, and this was a slightly controversial film because the book at the beginning, because it was much more darker than most children's books. There's definitely that kind of vibe in the movie itself, because there are I wouldn't say this is too scary for kids. I wouldn't say most of the stuff is too traumatizing, but if if your kid's like a little on the young side, there might be some slight imagery that they might not handle.
I would say that it kind of is based for kids, but it's like the older kids. It's like teenagers. Those are the sort of people that I think would relate with this the most, especially because it's based around a teenager who's going through a part of her life where she's not really welcome, or she feels not welcome in her home. She's still got that little bit of childhood where she wants to go exploring and play games, but she's kind of getting rid of her childhood a little bit more. I like how it all kind of links in with like the teenage angst, and it's kind of obvious that like teenagers would relate to this quite a lot, I think.
I do definitely agree with that. I do think an interesting aspect that does why are you doing that? Why you just
Because I need a drink.
Yeah, but you don't have to make it as noisily as possible. But anyway, one aspect I do like is that, of course, the story has been told many times of, oh, the daughter feels, or the son or daughter feels so neglected by her parents, and she just wants a paradise. I do think this is a more interesting take, though, because while the parents do kind of neglect their daughter, it's not like a mean-spirited kind of neglect.
No, they're just busy. I mean, you know, it's like real life. Like that's the sort of neglect that you would expect in every day-to-day relationship with a teenager. A teenager would see that maybe they want the focus from the parents, and they kind of realize that maybe they don't want to give the focus, so then they seclude into their own imaginations and stuff. It's got like quite a nice moral to it, is that you've got to be very careful for what you wish for, because inevitably, like, what happens to Coraline is Coraline. What happens to Coraline is that she wants better parents, and she wants like all this fun and stuff, and then it ends up turning on her, and you know that doesn't end up being good for her. Like, obviously it's not safe. And
I do like they don't villainize the parents.
Shall we talk about the villain? Like, the main villain.
Yeah.
It's not actually the parents that are the villains.
No.
They're just normal parents.
Yeah.
The main villain is Other Mother.
Yeah.
It's actually voiced by Lois Lane.
Which,
Terry Hatcher.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Terry Hatcher played Lois Lane in The New Adventures of Superman.
Oh, okay.
I thought that performance, especially the switch between her actual mother and Other Mother, was so well done. Like, there was a menace behind it. You felt scared. And when she was like this perfect Other Mother, I felt that it was like the right touch of perfect, but with a little hint of creepiness. And the further that Coraline gets through her dreams and her dreamland of what she wants, she kind of like gets a little bit more freaked out by Terry Hatcher's performance. And going on to other performances, like Jennifer Saunders and Dawn French, which I don't know if you know who those two are. You'll definitely know Jennifer Saunders. She's done another voice acting role in an animation, a fairly famous animation, which is Shrek 2.
Oh, okay.
No, not The Lion King. She was in Shrek 2.
Okay.
She was the fairy godmother. Jennifer Saunders was. Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders have this great relationship in the UK. They're like this silly, bizarre, weird, funny duet.
So they're the two like old ladies in the film.
They're the two old ladies, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And again, their performances, especially the song that they did when you saw them in the dream sequence.
Yeah.
I found that hilarious. Yeah. I thought that was just so well done.
It's just a weird scene too, because like it's just like radar pushing in a sense, like it's because they're both kind of like naked, like in the like it's just
they're almost naked.
Yeah.
And Dakota Fanning as well. She's in it.
Yeah, and
she's Caroline. She's Coraline. I didn't realize that was Dakota Fanning until like
I knew
the end.
She was Dakota Fanning, but like that's like another like similar to like from the Iron Giant, that kid from the Iron Giant. It's another great like child performance in a way.
Well, I do actually find that child performances work a lot better in animation because kids can't act, right? They can speak and they can say lines, but they can't act and they get very nervous around cameras. So, like, to have them on animation, you can just get rid of all that straight away with the animation itself.
That's true.
Now, Dakota Fanning, she was a big child actress. She did War of the Worlds, which she was terrible in. She did a few other things,
it wasn't good, yeah.
No, but she was awful in it, though.
Yeah.
Really? The box thing? Ugh. No, she wasn't a great child actress, but she's got now to a level where she is really good, and she's doing some good performances. And I think she's just hitting on that radar of, hey, look at me. I can be the next Oscar winner maybe at some point.
Yeah, and not be the next Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think she's got a wider variety of stuff now, whereas like Macaulay Culkin did cheesy 90s and late 80s kids films, which obviously didn't go down very well. And Chris Columbus, great director and great with working with kids, but doesn't really promote Macaulay that much.
Of course, like at first she's like very bitter and like kind of obviously pissed off at her situation, but then like she does grow as a character, and it's a very good performance. You really do feel for Coraline and the crazy journey that she goes on. One other notable performance that needs to be mentioned is the cat. Keith David. Yes. Keith David as the cat. He is just like, he was all over the trailers when this film first came out. He's just like, of course, like the cat in the beginning, you don't really expect, like, he's just a weird cat at first, but then we find out that this cat knows about the other world, and then he gets voiced by Keith David, and he's just an awesome character.
He's, again, another great actor that's done quite a lot of really cool voice acting roles, and some other roles as well that he's been in, like sideline stuff. I actually particularly do like that cat quite a lot, because when Coraline's in the real world, the cat is still acting and speaking to her without actually using dialogue, and I love that in animation. Animation always hits that out the park. We don't get that in live action. We can't make animals talk to humans. Like, we can't make them do proper looks. With animation, you can humanize animals, and I love how Laika have done that. And they've done that with other stuff as well. Later on, like Paranorman, that's another one where they've got a similar sort of style. And Kubo and the Two Strings, there's a cockroach in that has like this really humanized look about him. That's just something that I personally really enjoy about stop motion and what they've done with that cat. That cat's the prime example. It's like it humanized it. And when he catches the mouse and then bites it, it's
and
like,
then it becomes
and
then it becomes a rat. It's like, ooh.
This film's very good at pushing the boundaries, I found.
Yeah, I want to quickly talk a bit more about the plot itself, and I do think I like the plot of the movie. I think it's very well constructed. Like, there are very like interesting like foreshadowings and stuff for that stuff. The main one thing I want to talk about is the doll. The fact the doll is actually the other mother's way of like spying on paranormal. We see in the beginning scene, it's just her, which is also a very awesome, creepy opening scene where like the little scissor hands just like make the doll, and it's all like just weird and creepy, but also awesome. In the very beginning, when she first goes to the other world, it's just like her and the father, because that's all the doll sees. But then next time she meets the weird blue guy who like talks to rats, and then at the next one, that's when he appears. And then when she meets the old ladies, then when she brings the doll to them, that's when like those stuffs happen. I think that's a very clever and subtle detail, but that's also great foreshadowing.
Yeah, no, it is. I definitely agree with that. I do have a little bit of a problem with the plot, and that is the ending. I kind of sat at the ending, and I was getting a little bit distracted. I'm going to admit it. A lot was going on at the end, and there was a lot of things that they were trying to do, like with the eyes and stuff, and it very quickly developed. So, like, in one scene, she gets a little triangle disc that she looks through, to find the eyes of the other ghosts.
Yeah.
But all of this takes place over like the space of half an hour, even 20 minutes kind of thing. And it's rushed quite a lot. Because it's rushing, you're wandering a little bit because you're like, oh, okay, right, okay, now this is happening. You've got to try and keep up. I'm not so sure that fits as well, because the rest of the film is really well paced. So it's well paced up until like the 1 hour 20 mark, when she's finally getting the last 3 eyes, which she just stumbles upon. Well, she doesn't stumble upon, she figures out a really obvious clue, and like she gets the eyes, and then it's like, oh, okay, now we're gonna let you go, and it's like, I felt myself wondering on that, and that's probably my downside in this whole film. I think is that ending. I think that ending could have been a little bit more solid. I don't know how, but I wish it could. I wish it was. I wish it was more fulfilling. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I think that part went a bit too fast. Like, I like the ideas of it. Like, I like the weird looking, like the other father's weird, grotesque transformation to like a fat.
No, I do like the transformations every time she goes into the.
Like, they're all different and warped.
Something changes very subtly until
everything goes
the
to
other
hell.
mother is like really long and skeleton-like. And that reminded me very much of Jack Skeleton, by the way.
Yeah.
So I wondered if they were using a very similar model.
I don't know about that, but I doubt it.
Well, no, it was like the claws that she had and like the longish sort of neck. She had a sort of a rounder face.
I like the design of that other, like the spider.
I like the whole design of all the characters. I'm not taking that away. I'm just thinking that. I wonder if maybe they used the original base for Jack Skeleton.
I honestly
as
doubt
like
it.
a modeling. Maybe
That was maybe. I mean, I don't. I'm not sure. Maybe, but I do doubt it. But anyway.
Well, it's the same director, and
it's possible. It's not, I'm not saying.
Like, yeah, I would imagine it's probably the same art team as well. That worked on the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Still, there's like a 20-year difference between.
Like that ending, it just the film felt about the right length, but the ending was rushed, and there were little bits that I think in the middle that they didn't quite need as much of. So we get rid of that and then focus on that ending and make it really solid.
Yeah, I do agree. Like, the ending felt a bit more rushed, like, especially it felt like a video game, kind of like you're at this point, like it's like getting the 3 part, especially when the first eye gets in. It's like, oh, you did a good job getting the eye, now get the other ones. Like it just felt like, oh, this is like a video game at this point.
Like I would have liked a longer challenge. I would have liked more challenges, like more complications. I would have liked each time that she finds an eye, she gets another clue with the eye, and then like it links in. Instead of just like one clue that tells her where all 3 of the eyes are.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I mean, that's a small thing. If you honestly think about it, that is actually a small thing. Because the rest of the film was very fulfilling, and I suppose at the end I felt fulfilled. I like how the hand crept under the door at the end and scratched away and pulled it open, and then we got back up to that great pace of the chase and the hand crawling after it, and then my favourite character comes and saves the day. Wyborn.
Yeah, Wyborn. Wyborn. That's just an awful name.
He's honestly my favourite character because he's just weird.
That's an interesting thing. Okay, you continue, but I have the points to make after.
No, you carry on.
Now, it's funny that you like Wyborn, because it's an interesting thing, because Wyborn, of course, as I mentioned previously, the movie was based on the book, but one major difference was the character of Wyborn. Wyborn was not in the original book at all. Like, he was specifically created for the film, and like he's kind of a controversial character for fans of the book and the movies and stuff, because some people were wondering if the character is completely necessary.
Hey, that's very mean. That's very mean. This character has a name, Wyborn, and other people on the internet are now questioning if he should be in the film or not. He should be very insulted right now.
I do agree. I think the character does have a purpose. Like, they do connect him to the lore of the film and all that stuff, because his mother is not only like the owner of the apartment, but also, like, when she was young, her sister was another future, like, a victim of the same stuff that the other mother went through, which is a kind of interesting and kind of sad, like, way of connecting. Like, there's a kind of tragic aspect to, like, his character in the background. And also, he kind of accidentally starts the whole thing because he gives him the doll in the beginning.
Yeah, well, it's not just that. It was kind of obvious what was going to happen with him and Coraline and the relationship that they were going to do. Straight off the bat, Coraline's like, you're a stalker, you're creeping me out, you're weird. And he is weird. He has weird goggles on, and he chases slugs and does weird photos. Like, they grow together, don't they?
Yeah.
And I like how his character kind of transforms. Like, he goes to the, you're the freak kind of thing, runs away, kind of realizes, and then comes at the end of the day and saves the day. Which is a little bit of an ex machina, but
yeah, no,
I can live with that, I think. because there was reason in his character for why he would come back and try and help Coraline, and that was because he put the dots together. His grandma had told him or shown him a photo or something, and like it kind of made sense, like how his character would progress. Whereas like other shoe-in characters that could have been put in or that weren't put in or whatever, like they could have gone very wrong with it. And that's why I like this character, is the fact that it felt like it was what someone in a real situation would do, or a real kid would do. Like, it felt like, yeah, there's this loner kid that's running around chasing slugs. Yeah, nobody's going to like him at school. The first instinct is Coraline's not going to like him. And Coraline immediately says that, you know, it's better off if he doesn't talk. But then she realizes and she learns. And his character, YB's character, is a very good point of rotation for Coraline herself.
I do agree with that. I do, honestly, talking a bit about the issues with the ending, I'm not a big fan of that whole, as you said, action kind of scene that comes with it. Because well, first off, I kind of felt like the stuff with the hand, like, it was, the stuff with the hand felt like a kind of after ending. Like, after all this stuff in the other world, this extra, like, hand action scene kind of felt like slightly tacked on. Like, I thought, oh, the movie's about to end. Oh, wait, no, there's still this, like, hand that's coming after. I do think it could have been an interesting, like, I felt like that scene where it felt like a big action climax to the thing, which I felt wasn't 100%, like, I felt like they could have done a different route. For example, I haven't actually read the book, actually. I'm not too familiar with the book, but I've heard, like, in the original book, like, the way that the hand gets, like, defeated is more with trickery and stuff than just this big action moment, which I think might have worked slightly better, but...
Yeah, no, I think that probably would have been a better route, and I'm not saying that. I do have problems with the ending itself. However, I like that little tacked-on ending, because the other ending that we got, the first ending, it wasn't quite fulfilling enough, and it wasn't long enough. And to have this hand come back out and creep out, I found it was creepy, it was scary. You as the audience knew something that Coraline didn't. Coraline is running away, she's trying to get rid of this key, which is the only way that the other mother can get out and into the real world, or get Coraline back into her world. And I just liked that that you showed that teamwork. Now, I do agree that maybe, like, with trickery, like, the best way to outsmart a trickster is by tricking them themselves, because that's essentially what the other mother is. She's a trickster. And I do think that maybe that's the best way of, like, doing it, because I would have liked to have seen Coraline actually smart out her opponent.
Outsmart, not...
Yeah, no, smart out. No, I'm right. It's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that's what I would have liked to have seen. But what we actually got was this kind of really cool action sequence at the end, and it really showed how well, like, they could animate, like, long runtime, and it showed you how weird and creepy a hand could be. And I just like the image of the hand crawling up and grabbing her around the neck and trying to drag her back to the house. I just like that image. It just looked really nice.
Yeah. Before we're getting close to the end time, before we begin, I do want to point out just, like, the whole concept, like, I think the creepiest aspect of the film is the whole idea of the button eyes, especially when it's revealed that Coraline would have to literally, like, sew buttons into her eyes in order to, like, which is such, like, it's a kind of disturbing thing that's not, you, like, when you really think about it, it's actually kind of messed up. Like, obviously we weren't going to get detail as to how that process would have worked, but it's still, like, that kind of...
The needle is very sharp, though. That's what her dad said.
Yeah, it's like, and I do like that. Actually, going on with that, I do like the aspect of the other father actually kind of being, like, nice to her, like, or at least not wanting... Oh, my timers went off. Anyway, continuing, like, that kind of aspect of the other father actually kind of trying to help him, like, warn Coraline of all that stuff. Especially, once again, going back to that song I sang in the beginning, that song actually has a lot of foreshadowing to the whole things about the eyes and the buttons and stuff. Because if you listen to the lyrics, it says, she's as cute as a button in the eyes. And then later on, it says, our eyes will be on Coraline. Literally, like that kind of stuff, like kind of foreshadows her fate. She even mentions the doll thing. So like, of course, it's like a catchy song at first, but there's actual foreshadowing to it that's actually very clever.
Yeah, no, that is very clever.
I think my favorite scene of the film was going back to the ending. That scene where like she kind of just the other mother makes this web like fall out, the black and white kind of web that like, and Coraline has to literally get herself out, and the other mother has no eyes at this point, which is kind of ironic considering like the fate, like her wanting Coraline's eyes as button eyes, and now she's blind basically, and it's a creepy, great animation, creepy scene. I love that scene.
But anyway, that's Coraline. I think we can both say we enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely enjoyed it. I was hoping it would be. I was hoping I would enjoy it more. I didn't enjoy it as much as I was thinking I was going to.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I think it's part of me was like, I was so looking forward to seeing this film for a long time, and I think the film...
me too. This film's been built up for me quite a lot. A lot of people have said, "Oh my god, it's a brilliant film. It's like one of the best films ever.
It's a good
the
film.
Best animation." It's
definitely...
not the best. It's a good film. I'm not going to take that away. It is a good film. It's not the best animation, though. And there were definite improvements. But for, like, a first film that a production studios has released, Laika, it's one hell of a film.
No, definitely. This is definitely a good movie.
I would definitely put Kubo and the Two Strings higher than this.
Of course.
Definitely.
Of course you are.
Well, no, I generally really liked Kubo and the Two Strings, but we can talk about that off recording.
Yeah, it's an amazing film. Didn't do too good financially though. No one else wanted to see it apparently besides you.
Coraline?
No, Kubo.
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 Well, yeah, no, it's unfortunate because this kind of feels like it's going to be another Studio Ghibli here. Is that Studio Ghibli just kept bringing out brilliant films and nobody went to see them. And what's going to happen to Laika? Well, look no further than Studio Ghibli. That is generally my predictions, and it's going to be a real shame because they've got a great catalogue of films at this point. Right, okay. So yeah.
Wait. Aren't you supposed to be telling what film
No.
Good night. Good night. No, it's good.
So we are actually moving on to the last animation.
The final film.
The final animation film in our kind of series of animation.
And definitely, I want to know what the heck this film is.
I know. If you shut up and listen, I'll tell you.
Okay.
God damn it, Roy. So we are moving on to the final. We started off with a Disney film. The second film was a Warner Brothers drawn animation. This latest one was a Laika stop motion film. So there's one studio that we have missed, and it is a big studio, and that is Pixar. For me, like, they are the pioneers. They are the ultimate studio in animation. Every film that Pixar release, people will go and see. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, or anything whatsoever. So I'm going to go with a Pixar release here. And there's quite a lot of really good ones to go for. But I thought, why not go for the one Pixar film that I've never seen? I'm going to go with Inside Out.
Wow.
So that's my pick. Yeah.
Okay. I have seen Inside Out.
Okay. So this is a bit different because I've now picked something that I haven't seen, but you have. So that's kind of interesting for me because that means that I'm again on the downside. Like every single film. Oh wait, no. I saw the Iron Giant, obviously.
Yeah.
Three out of the 4 films I hadn't actually seen in this.
That's gonna be interesting. Yeah. I was not. I will admit, I was not expecting you to go for Pixar for that one, but at the same time.
Well, no, we did Disney, but I was ultimately unhappy with the actual Disney film. I think that Pixar can do better than Disney on their own.
So you decided to go with Pixar.
I had to go to a Pixar film. And,
okay.
Why not pick the one that I haven't seen?
Oh, you haven't seen? That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, no, I know. I never actually got around to seeing it.
I think you're gonna. I'm not gonna say anything about the film. I'm just gonna say.
Nope, you can't.
Nope. Next time, now's your chance to check out Inside Out if you haven't seen it. If you're like the one person who isn't Wumble who hasn't seen the film yet, now's your chance to check it out before we begin our podcast discussing that film and closing off the theme of animation. So that's gonna be interesting. Next time, we're also going to be discussing the new theme that's going to be replacing animation. So that's also something to look forward to. It's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Any final remarks before we finish?
Thinking up a song about Coraline.
Adios, muchos! Let's get out of here! Yay!
It's adios muchachos, not adios muchos.
No, it's muchos now. That's what it is.
No, it's not.
Yep.